You think of pregnancy as a long, multi-month process that ends in a single new life. But there is a creature living in your garden right now that renders that entire biological model obsolete. Imagine being born, only to realize that you are already carrying your own offspring inside you. This is the reality for the aphid, an insect that has mastered a reproductive strategy so efficient it has turned them into one of the most destructive pests on the planet. How does a creature smaller than a pinhead manage to outpace almost every other organism in the animal kingdom? Chapter 1. The Silent Invasion. To understand why aphids are such a persistent problem for farmers and gardeners, we have to look past their size. They are tiny, soft-bodied insects, often blending into the stems of plants. But they are not just eating your plants, they are effectively colonizing them. Before we dive into their biology, it is important to understand the scale of the threat. Aphids feed on plant sap, sucking the life out of crops and transmitting viruses that can devastate entire fields. They are not merely an annoyance. They are an economic force of nature, and their ability to dominate an environment comes down to a strategy that defies the conventional rules of reproduction. Chapter 2. Telescopic generations. The secret to the aphid's success is a process known as telescopic pregnancy. Unlike most insects that lay eggs and wait for them to hatch, aphids can reproduce asexually, giving birth to live young. But here is the kicker. The gestation period is only about 1 week. Within that week, the aphid is not just developing one infant. Because of the way they develop, a female aphid is born already containing the embryos of her own offspring. It is essentially a biological Russian nesting doll. By the time a nymph is born, the next generation is already growing inside her. This allows for an exponential population explosion that happens in the blink of an eye. Chapter 3. The Mathematics of Overwhelm. People often assume that population growth is limited by the time it takes for an organism to reach sexual maturity. We are used to thinking in terms of seasonal breeding or long maturation cycles. The aphid ignores this. Because they do not need a partner to mate during their asexual phase, and because the next generation is literally preloaded at birth, they bypass the traditional bottlenecks of biology. A single aphid can settle on a plant, and within days, that plant is swarmed by a colony of clones. They don't have to wait to find a mate, and they don't have to wait to grow up before they start producing the next wave of invaders. Chapter 4. A lesson in efficiency. What does this mean for you? It means that if you see a single aphid on a rose bush today, you are not looking at one insect. You are looking at a potential colony of thousands by the end of the month. Their biology is a masterclass in efficiency that highlights how quickly a system can collapse when a single variable, in this case, gestation time, is optimized to the extreme. It is a reminder that nature does not always prioritize the complex or the slow. Sometimes, the most successful strategy is simply to be faster than everyone else. Chapter 5. The Persistent Perspective. We often look at pests as something to be managed with chemicals or traps, but the aphid teaches us that we are fighting a biological clock that is ticking faster than we can keep up with. Their survival strategy is not just about being hungry, it is about being inevitable. They are the ultimate example of how a slight modification in reproductive biology can turn a fragile, tiny insect into a global agricultural juggernaut. It is a sobering thought. While we are still planning our next steps, the aphid has already finished the next 3 generations. Nature doesn't need to be big to be unstoppable. It just needs to be faster than the world around it. If this changed how you see the tiny invaders in your backyard, let me know in the comments. Subscribe for more deep dives into the strange truths behind your daily life.